good for you. Oh, she was?
All right.
Okay, thank you very much for being here. Is this the last one?
It is.
This is the last one, all right? For today. We're going to be covering de-escalation. Okay? By definition, why do we need to de-escalate? Well, in order to understand that, we have to understand why things get escalated in the first place. Okay? For the purpose of this, escalation is an increased intensity or magnitude. Okay, what this might look like is, I'll tell you a little story first, real quick if I could. So, there was a time that we had two case managers, and our other case manager, this is years and years ago, nobody, any of you would know, except for maybe Lisa, Ferdine, and Garfield. But we had an employee conflict, right? And one employee, the case manager and the employee we had were arguing back and forth, back and forth. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know them? Chris? And Eric. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Not Eric Orderman.
Oh.
This is a different Eric. He's passed away. Anyway, so we had a meeting and they kind of went up. One got loud and the other one got louder.
That sounds wrong. You're talking about a story. You're talking about an escalation, and then you say rest in peace.
Well, I said rest in peace because I said his name. That's a good one, though. I didn't catch that one. Very good, very good, very good. All right.
Well, that's
So,
the de-escalator.
yeah, no, that's a real sad. I'll tell you offline. Anyway, so these two individuals, one would go up louder, the other one would go up louder. And they would the emotions in the room got really intense, right? To the point where someone would say, well, I don't like you. But the other one would say, I don't like you. And they would use these little comments, these underhanded comments, to increase the escalation. Okay? So, the reason I'm going to tell you this story is, I really don't want you to buy the bait. Okay? If someone comes in to you, and they're already agitated, and then they try to get a reaction out of you by saying something subversive. Okay? They'll say something under the wire just to kind of raise your intensity to match theirs. And then we start getting into this trying to one-up each other. Okay? Well, if we get everybody yelling all at the same time, right, we're not making any music. Okay? The only thing we're doing is making a bunch of noise. So, it's our jobs, as being employees of this organization, to de-escalate, to bring things down to a more calm level. You ever heard that saying, that cooler heads prevail? Has anyone heard that? No? Okay, well, I'm going to say it then. First time, I feel blessed. All right, so when there's an argument, we try to separate and say, let cooler heads prevail. Meaning, take a breath, take a breather if you need to, okay? So, let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So, when do we need to de-escalate? Well, that depends on the situation, first of all. You know, anyone here think anger is a bad thing? Getting mad?
No.
Okay, so anger is a natural emotion like love, happiness, or any of those things, okay? We're going to experience anger. We're going to get mad about stuff. It's when that anger and that takes over us and makes it where we stop making reasonable decisions, okay? So the inclination may be to intervene immediately, okay? Some people just need to get it out. Anybody here vent? No? No? You guys can raise your hands. It's okay. That's my way of keeping you awake. Okay, when I say raise your hand, because I can't make you do jumping jacks or anything like that. Yeah. All right. So, as long as the individual isn't in immediate danger of self or others, you can make a quick assessment. Okay. I'm not asking you to do like a biopsychosocial assessment. I'm saying assess the situation. Is this really worth talking about right now? Okay. Are we going to come to some kind of conclusion with hot heads at this point in time? Okay. What I'm saying is pick your battles. Let them calm down. Like if a veteran comes in, have you guys had veterans come in and be mad about something? You know? Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So we don't argue with them, right? We want to de-escalate. By not engaging in that argument, they may say something where they'll attack you professionally. Okay, they'll say, well, you don't know what you're doing with your job. You're not any good at your job. Or, you know, why are you even here? You don't care about veterans, right? when they get to that point where they say you don't care about veterans, then they're attacking you personally. Okay? Don't take it personally. Okay? They're in a elevated state. They have something on their mind. They want to express. They need to get it out. Okay? Let them take a break. Okay? So, go ahead, next slide, please. So your safety and the safety of those in your charge is first and foremost. Your safety and the safety of the people that you are in charge of is your first priority. Okay? We can do a lot of stuff. One thing we can't do is bring somebody back from the dead, right? But we can do a lot of stuff. So once we get cooler heads and get down to what the real issue is, it's possible we can fix it. Don't let a temporary burst of emotion be a determinant for you and for your client, for the veterans that you're working with, be the thing that end all be all for you. Okay? Take time and listen. Okay? So trust your gut. If a person in crisis is experiencing an escalation or aggravation of behavior, it is not advised to corner them. Don't press the issue. Okay? Don't follow them into an uncontrolled area. Okay? Especially specifically with monitors. If you have somebody who comes in, let's say they are intoxicated and they're angry. They're one of the angry ones. You know, they're squirming all around. Oh, I hate this place. I hate everything. You know, so that. If that person, are you going to follow that person like down the hallway if they're already mad? Because chances are they're not in control of their faculties. Okay? They're going to make rash decisions. They're going to do things that they probably wouldn't normally do if they weren't intoxicated and if they weren't already angry. Okay? If you feel like you need to get out, get out. Okay? There's nothing that we can't replace, okay, except for a life. Okay? It is necessary before de-escalation can even begin for both people to feel safe. Okay? This may mean relinquishing of potential weapons, like they've got a bat, a chair, you know, I don't know, a cup, something that they could throw at you, or something they could use to attack you or attack anyone else. Okay? You might need to ask them to put that down. If they're not willing to put that down, don't engage. Okay? Step back and engage. You can do the head nod and say, look, we can't really talk about this until we're both safe. Okay? Next slide, please. So privacy is important that anyone that does not have a vested interest in this conversation not be present. Okay? Roommate mediation. Okay. It's a hard one. All right, so you get two roommates, they're both coming from different angles. They're talking about, well, he doesn't flush the toilet, he leaves the door open, he hasn't taken out the trash, he does stuff and leaves it on something. Sounds familiar, huh? All right.
When did this ever happen?
Yeah. So one of the things I say though is, you know, if someone else, like the person across the hall, does not need to come into the room. You know, if they want to make a statement, let them go and write their statement. But they do not need to be there in the room, because people have a tendency, if they see a fight, what do people do when they see a fight? They don't want to go around, everybody wants to gather around and watch. Nobody wants to intervene, but they all want to watch. So now the person that's escalated has an audience. Okay? So them having an audience kind of pumps up and adds fuel to what's already going on. So we need to separate them, let them calm down. Okay? But remain professional at all times. Maintain your composure. Okay? I'll give you an example. We used to have on the VA liaison, David Center. We had this veteran who was sitting down. He hadn't been doing anything in the program. So I was sitting on the couch. This was in 105. I was sitting on the couch. David Center was sitting in front of the veteran. The veteran was sitting here. And David said, well, look, you haven't done anything in your program. Why are you even here? And the guy started to get agitated. He got angry. You know, started taking off his jacket, stood up, was moving his arms around like he was going to fight. So my instinct was to scoot to the edge of the couch and get ready to intervene. Right? David Santa looked at me, saw what I was doing, and he said, calm down. He just told me to sit back. Okay? Don't escalate the situation. The guy eventually the veteran, he's either going to come down, cool off. He cooled off. But they either cool off or they'll leave. Give them the opportunity to leave. Okay? If they can't leave or they're not willing to leave, end it. Okay? Don't engage. Don't add fuel to what's already a heated situation. Next slide, please. All right. So the importance of listening with empathy. Everybody knows what empathy is? No? No, Tim doesn't know what empathy is? All right.
Way to go.
So there's two things that people often get these confused, sympathy and empathy. Okay? Sympathy is, I have actually experienced that, I can relate to that. Empathy is, you don't have to experience it, but you can understand the feelings that they're conveying. Okay? You don't have to actually have sympathy for someone's situation, you can have empathy for them. Okay? You have an understanding, but by no means are you condoning. Okay? It's just you have a greater understanding. That's what the difference is. So give the person undivided attention. Anybody here been trying to engage with somebody at a store, you're trying to return something, and the person behind the store, it's happened to Walmart a lot. You're trying to return something, the person there that you're talking to is not engaging with you, they're kind of like looking off, like they got their cell phone out. Or even a date. You go out and date and they have their cell phone out, you're trying to talk to them, they're one of my pet peeves, I'm sorry. Anyway, not paying attention. So people feel disrespected when you don't acknowledge them and pay attention. Be non-judgmental. Suspend judgment. Remember, you let them say everything they've got to say, but then bring it down. But you don't have to let them disrespect you. You make sure you be clear with them, be firm, be consistent. Okay? Focus on the person's feelings, not just the facts. So, well, one of the things that they commonly teach in social work is, well, I hear you saying this, so why don't you tell me what you're really saying? How do you feel about that? Those questions drive me crazy. How do you feel about it? It drives me crazy. Okay? But there are ways to say, well, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Are you upset? What's going on? Don't make suggestions, but ask them. What are you really feeling right now? What's the real issue? Why do you feel this? Or they'll silence. Some people will come in and they'll just pace. Has anybody ever had that? There's something going on, but they don't seem like they're just ready to, at that point, to where they want to engage. So they'll just kind of pace around, like they'll come over here to Cedric, right? And say, hi, Cedric, how you doing there? Anyway, so they'll pace. They're not ready to talk, but that's a way to let them cool off from it. But then they'll come out.
Another good thing to point out is that some techniques work with some individuals and don't with others as well.
So, allow silence. Use restatement to clarify the messages. So don't be a parrot, okay? So if Mike here says, oh, I'm really pissed off. And if I said to Mike, you're really pissed off. That sounded more like a question, or you're really pissed off, aren't you? See, there's differences. So in the way we suggest our tones, and the way we talk to people, there are differences, okay? This lets the escalated individual know that they are being heard and understood, even if you don't agree with them. You don't have to condone what they're doing, as long as you're listening to them. Next slide, please. All right. So when people are paid attention, they feel validated. They feel important. The converse is also true. People feel less important and sometimes feel that they need to up the ante to get your attention. So they got to raise their voice to make sure that you're hearing them. Right? So paying attention doesn't just mean saying I'm listening. It means looking at the person and actually engaging with them. Right? The head nod. You might see us do this a lot. We do the head nod. Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We'll do gestures with our hands sometimes. You see like that. You see like Tim will say no, but I know he really means yes. Next slide, please. So if someone says the